Hi everyone, welcome back to the Art of Safe Scumming. Today we're covering another campaign in Immortal Empires. Today we're going to be going after Skarbrand. Skarbrand is a very fun campaign with the focus on destroying everything, which is great. However, it is a relatively challenging campaign because we have a pretty poor start. We have a single settlement here in the middle of all of this mess. We start at war with one faction, but right over here we have Wurzag. We have Queek over here. We have some dwarves down here with Thoric. We have Cetra over there. We have Krokgar over here. If we go further, we've got Scrag over here. We've got Ikit over there. We've got more dwarves, more Skaven, more. We've got Imric over here. There's just a lot going on, and to be honest, in the early game, even though Skarbrand can roll over everyone, it takes him a little bit of time, especially now with the nerf. So, first things first, skulls for the skull throne. The next thing I want to state is I prefer to play on legendary very hard, but for the sake of this guide, we're going to run the difficulty down to easy so I can use the auto-resolve, because otherwise I'd have like 9 hours of content to freaking edit down, which is just not cool. So this would be done in an hour if we can just auto-resolve everything. The exceptions to that, if we have to fight a battle manually, we're going to bump the difficulty back up to very hard. And the other exception is that if we're going to fight a battle that would have resulted in a army not getting wiped out, that we fight that battle manually. This is an exception to that, so like it would be a field battle. But the exception to that would be like this one here is auto-scripted to be annihilated. So we get to auto-resolve this one. But if we're fighting a field battle and the army would be able to run away most likely, then we need to make sure that we fight that manually so that it's a one-to-one comparison for those of us who want to do a manual resolve campaign. So first step, move this guy to the zone of control of this guy right here. And then attach our hero. And you do it that way because if we had done it the other way around, then Skarbrand can't reach this settlement afterwards. So, attach. Attack. We now have some skill points to put in, and we need to put those into Route Marcher and then increase mobility. We're now going to blow up this settlement. Blood for the Blood God. Now this is going to generate a blood host. We're going to use that next turn and for the few turns after. We're now going to march one turn in this direction and then use our Unholy Manifestation. This is going to result in a battle that is going to give us a little bit more movement range. And yes, we could absolutely do better than this in manual resolve. We're now going to take that extra movement and march one more time. We have now discovered Malagor. Malagor is basically a bank for everything chaos related. So if we go here, we can get this guy to go in a non-aggression pact for a pile of money. We can also say that we'll join his war for another pile of money. You need to come back and check him basically every single turn to see if he will give you something, because we're going to need the income. Skarbrand is now going to take his points. And then we're going to recruit these guys. Now for technologies. This one is the first technology that we're going to target, then this one, and then this one. This one first because we want this spooled up for when we leave the region. While Skarbrand is capable of rolling over everyone, he has a hard time in the short-term campaign. I'm going to be calling this campaign Skarbrand's Great Escape because we plan to leave this region, maybe never come back until late game, and get to the Chaos Waste, and there's a way to game that. So Here, we're going to build this, because we're going to want that cultist, and we're going to delete this. And that is the end of turn 1. Turn 2, relatively easy. We're going to force march this guy in one direction to see if there's any armies that came down. Nothing. We're now going to move Skarbrand to right here. He is going to recruit these troops. And then over here, we're going to build walls. We're also going to go into diplomacy. Oftentimes you can get deals with Clan Moors. Yes, we are running in the red, and we're going to run in the red for a while, but that's just the way Skarbrand's campaign plays. Your blood host should have a siege attacker in it. We're going to use this army to launch this attack. But before we do, we want to make sure that we bring Skarbrand in to reinforce. We are going to occupy this settlement. And to build here, we're going to build this right here. This gives us extra casualty replenishment rate as well as income from battles. We're going to force march Skarbrand yet again, but this time we want to make sure that we are outside the zone of control of this settlement. So somewhere in this region. And that'll put us outside the zone of control. If this decides to jump over here, we want to make sure that we don't get drug into a battle with the settlement garrison and this army. This one, we're going to force march up to here. So looking at the landscape here, everything's kind of forming up as planned. We're going to take this guy, and we're going to attack this settlement. We're going to sack it, and then raid. Skarbrand is going to take out this settlement, but we want to do it in a way that launches us this direction. So we're going to make sure that we're correctly positioned here, and then we're going to launch this attack. We're going to create a blood host, blood for the blood god. And this guy is going to run security in this region. Skarbrand can now reach this settlement. I crave bloodshed. So we're going to do almost the same thing. Skulls for the skull throne this time. And then we're going to move Skarbrand this way. And he's going to recruit. Wurzeg has come down. He's going to probably take this settlement either next turn or the turn after that. And when he takes this settlement, we want to make sure that we have a second army raised here that has 4 units in it. So we're going to go ahead and raise an army now. And I like to use these guys because they eventually become exalted bloodthirsters. So we're going to go with... We're going to need money. So we're going to do that. And this guy is just going to recruit 2 of those guys. Next technology, serial killing. Skarbrand is going to continue to move in this direction. But he wants to stay out of the visual range of Wurzeg. He's going to go into ambush stance. This army is either going to come here and try to cap this, ruin dwell this, or they're going to come up this way. So we want to sit in a position that we can do either. This army is just going to sack this settlement again.
Rejoice.
The purpose of that is increasing the growth. Now, Wurzag might sit here. He might come down this way. We need to be prepared for that. We want to annihilate him. This army needs to be in position to attack this position next turn with at least 4 units. So we're going to sit there, and we're going to recruit 2 more units. This one is going to attack this. Blow it up. This one attacks this army. And we're going to auto-resolve this, even though it's a field battle, because we were in very close proximity to it. We'd be able to fight it twice. We don't have any critical movement that needs to happen out of this army afterwards. Skarbrand needs to be somewhere in this region. He's ultimately going for this settlement. Sometimes Malagor will take that out. But we need to be somewhere about here. Over the end turn, Wurzag came down, fought Malagor, and beat him, but in the process destroyed his army. So we're going to go ahead and take him in the open, but now instead of outright declaring war, we can go to Malagor and be like, hey bud, we're going to go ahead and join your war against Wurzag. We're not going to take this because eventually we will get that, and we can charge Malagor for it. Now this army is going to sit here and try to hold this position. This army is just going to kind of sit here, and their objective is to watch for any armies that are coming down. This one is sitting over here holding security. Malagor is not here to take this out, so we're going to go ahead and move in that direction with the goal to get an elimination on the top knots. Sends us on. Seek you slaughter. Move Skarbrand to here. Now, here we have a bit of a dilemma. Now, here we have a bit of dilemma. This army now here we have a bit of dilemma. Now here we have a bit of a dilemma. Now here we have a bit of dilemma. I'm surprised that they sent this. Now here we have a bit of a dilemma. I think what we do here is move this into ambush stance. This one would be wiped out if we won, but we probably won't. Just damage it really bad. Maybe it'll wave off. We may very well lose this settlement, and if that's the case, it's fine. Our goal is to get out of here anyway, but we're going to try to defend it. Now we have this expansion going on here. We want to hold this position, but we don't want to spend the money in developing it, because ultimately, once we have our cult manifest somewhere else, we're going to sell this territory to Malagor. This settlement being developed is bad. So we may have to go to war with this faction. We're going to move a little bit closer and see what's going on. We can reach it, but we want to reach it when there's no army sitting there. The reason this is bad is we don't want that cult to expand into this region. We need to keep that from happening by basically destroying this. But we need to do so when this guy moves off. Skarbrand's going to go ahead and just take this guy out. And now we're going to move Skarbrand south with the objective to go after Thoric's trait. Now in this situation, we intend to leave this region and possibly never come back. It's up to you whether you want to keep this location and try to defend it, or if you want to sell it to Malagor after you leave. We're going to be leaving sometime in the next 5 turns, something like that. Personally, I'm not going to defend this. So the whole purpose of this being built this way was to keep anybody from trying to attack it while Queek takes out anything up here. This is good enough right now to basically leave it. So all I'm doing here is getting my cultist.
Cultist of the Blood God.
Send him back to do some recruitment, and again we're gonna keep an eye on this. You are nowhere close to being able to take on this battle. I suggest a 50-50 mix of Warriors of Khorne and Bloodletters. We just simply can't do that right now. Force march. Our goal is to take out Thoric. Go ahead and attach our hero.
I will drive them harder.
Skarbrand's going to come to approximately right here and recruit, or Skarbrand is going to come to approximately right here and recruit next turn to fill out the rest of the army. This guy still did not move. This army here goes into the zone of control and recruits 2 units. We just got our cult manifestation in the location that we wanted it. We're going to teleport Skarbrand up here using this. We're not going to do it right this second, though, because we want to get Thoric's trait before we leave. So now, anything else that we have going on down in this region can be wrapped up. We don't need this. We're going to go ahead and get an elimination on... Maybe. Yeah, we can reach him. So that should wrap up the top knots. Yep. We can now disband this army.
Skulls for the Skull Throne. Eradicate.
This army is going to merge down its units and then try to get over this direction to assist. And then we're going to sell all this territory to Malagor. Recruit some units. There is not Thoric. We're going to get these guys. So now 1 settlement, 2 armies. Nobody is currently at war with Thoric. Now, if you're not interested in the extra armor-piercing weapon strength for your entire army, then you don't need to go get Thoric's trait. You can totally leave whenever you want. I'm going to continue to go on down this way and look for it. This army is still kind of lagging behind. For military access, we will absolutely take that. There's the man himself. So we're going to set up a little bit of an ambush trap here. Well, shucks. Now, we've defeated Thoric, so we should have magic item drop chance, armor-piercing weapon damage +3, replenish whatever we lost, and then we're going to go ahead and do our trick. Skarbrand has now teleported all the way up to the North Chaos Wastes. He can now easily take this settlement, so strangely, we're going to find our Slaaneshi faction, join war against our Khorne faction.
The things I would do. Let us.
And we're going to occupy it. We have now migrated to the north. How you would go from here is you would obviously fill out the army, maybe even do some recruiting, probably merge these down like this. We can recruit, what, 3 here? So I'd probably merge down these, replace them with 3 Chaos Warriors like that. I would probably take this down here, probably blow this up. Back up in the North Chaos Waste, you would check to see how many settlements they have. They have 2. So they've got Blood Mountain and Infernus. So once you blow this up, you can likely reach this. We also have this Unholy Manifestation to use next turn, so we can do that whole thing again, where we basically blew this up, went there. You would pop this before you did that, so you had the extra movement range after raising the settlement, and allow this to be auto-colonized. From there, you would basically check and see how many settlements these people have, blow that up, work your way up this way, taking out Malice and anybody up that way. And ideally about here, you're going to run into the demons, the Demon Prince. You leave him alone, ally with him, come right back down this way, work Sigvald and his vassals over, run this way, take out basically the entire north. You can ally with Valkia if you care, and then work your way down south. So that's all for Skarbrand's Great Escape. I hope that you enjoyed this video and you can put it to great use. Hopefully we'll see you on a new one here at the Art of Save Scumming.